Hey guys, it's Aaron. So today I want to take a look at making a brick wall. I know that sounds simple enough, and we'll talk about how easy it could be with materials, but there's a fine line to walk with creating something that has the texture of a brick wall without making a super heavy model, and we're going to take a look at how we might go about that right now. Okay, so we're going to start with the basics, right? I have a rectangle here, and I just filled it with a seamless brick texture. This is the simplest, this is the lightest. It does have a material that gets included in the file, so that adds a little bit of weight to the file, but overall, it's a single rectangle, super light, super simple. This is one way to do it. Obviously, there's some issues here. Say I was to take this and make it small and 3D print it, it would print out as this, one flat surface. I would get no details, no anything. Same thing with light going on here. Light's not going to create shadows. It is literally just going to light this up like it's a picture on a wall, because really that's all it is. So let's look at some options. I'm going to disclaim this real quick. I'm not going to get into specific dimensions, anything like that. I've done that before when I talked about stairs, and half the comments in the stair video were about rise and run and materials and that sort of thing. And I know there's a bunch of different ways to do it. There are different brick sizes. I'm not going to even get into specifics of brick sizes. We're going to use these rectangles and say that these are the size we want to use. Okay, so let's say we want to create something that has a little more depth here. One thing we could do is we could come into this image right now as it is, draw rectangles around these bricks, and we could pull them out a little like that. So I could do that over and over and over again on here. I'll only back up a step because I would probably take this same shape, grab just the lines, and then I could say, copy that, modifier key to right there, do that, 10x, that'll give me a bunch of bricks. But you can see right away the issue is that this is a realistic brick wall and I have different size bricks, that kind of thing, so it doesn't actually line up and tile perfectly. So I'd probably actually end up doing something like this. I'd grab one, modifier key to copy, bring that one down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Got a little crazy with my zoom in, sorry. Sorry about that, my apologies. Bring it right here, let's see, we'll get that like that. So you get what I'm getting at already. This is a possibility. I could do this, and I'm gonna take this line and push it up. And I could do that over and over again. I could do that, that is an option, but I probably don't want to. What I might do instead, so let's take this rectangle I just made, and let's look at how we could do this. I'm going to grab just the lines again. I'm going to move them, modifier key, copy it, and I'm going to get it on a second one. I'm going to do it again, get it onto, I'm looking for colors in here that are different from each other. So, you know, this little rectangle right here is a little darker. I want to get maybe one more. This one has a little bit of splotchiness on there. Get that. Okay, so I have 3 rectangles now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click each of these and make them a component. I'm going to call this brick 1. This guy up here, he's going to be brick 2. This one's going to be, you guys are probably guessing this, huh? Brick 3. And this one is going to be a component, brick 7. No, I'm just kidding, it's gonna be brick 4. Okay, so I could take all these now. I can actually, I'm gonna at this point just get rid of all that. So now I have 4 bricks. I wanna go into each one of these now. I'm gonna give it some depth. I'm just gonna push it back some amount. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna sample this real quick. That way when I pull it back, I can put it back on there. And then for the sides, I got to decide what I want to do. I probably don't want these seams and everything showing up. So what I might do on the sides is come in here and grab this eyedropper right here and grab a color out of this brick, maybe like, yeah, that's a good color, and just put that around here. So the only parts I'm really concerned about having the texture on is the front right there. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. Copy that. Push this back to the same depth, paint that back on the front, and then let's see, we'll grab a color off of here. Whoops, I hit the wrong eyedropper tool. I want to grab that, I'm only worried about 3 sides. I'm not worried about the back because when I'm done, the back shouldn't be visible. I mean, I guess I could make a 2-sided brick, so I could actually put this front texture on the back also, but I guess I didn't think of that until I got 2 bricks in, so I didn't do it. That's a valid reason to not do something, right? Because you didn't think of it. All right, so one more here, a sample, push, pull that back, paint that back on there, eyedropper tool. This one's a very bright red, so I'm gonna accentuate that. I'm gonna grab one of those brighter red colors. Okay, so now we have 4 bricks. And I can do this with as many, the more bricks I create this way, the more texture I'm gonna be able to get when I create my bricks. What am I talking about? Well, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and take these and we're gonna start laying them. So what I need to do is I need to figure out first off, what's my space gonna be like? This is actually the space that was between 2 bricks in that image. And let's see, it's 9/16. So I'm gonna say a 1/2 inch space. So I'm gonna grab this brick right here. I'm gonna put it right here next to this brick and I'm gonna shift it over 0.5. And now everything, all my bricks are going to be arrayed like that. So I'm gonna grab this brick, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it down here, I'm gonna scoot it over 0.5, and then maybe I'll take this brick and put it down here, scoot it over 0.5, and then I'll take this brick and put it down here, scoot it over 0.5. All right, now what I need to do is take all of those and I'm gonna put them, modifier key, copy them straight up, and then again, get my 0.5 space there. Now what I need to do is I need to get this lined up. So I need the middle of this brick. So there's my midpoint in this brick. I need that to line up with the space between. I can't come up with a midpoint in a space, so I'm just gonna temporarily draw a line like that. And then I'm gonna move this piece. I'm gonna stay on the red axis by holding shift, and there we go. All right, so what that did right there is that just set, obviously I don't wanna keep it like this because then if I just did that, I'm gonna have the same brick going back and forth. But what I can do now is I can say, okay, take this whole run of bricks and go from the top of this brick, option to maybe the top of that brick. And then we'll do it again. We'll copy it from, say, here, option to here. And you can kind of see what I'm doing now. So now I'll grab 3 of these and I'll say, now move those from here to here to fill in that space. And I can just keep doing that, just taking random bricks now and option copy them space to space. And if I use those same corners that I was using before, I can actually, you know, maintain my spacing like that. I'll put this one in. Oops. Make sure I use the corner of the brick, not that I'm actually moving, but the one I want to use as a reference. All right, so let's say, all right, that's a good set of bricks. I'm going to take all of that now. And I'm going to option copy that straight up. Oop, and I'm going to move it up again with my 1/2 inch. Okay, sweet. So that's going to be, right now, that's my set of bricks. So you can already see that that's looking a little better. And if I was to, you know, 3D print or something like that, I have some depth there. Obviously, there's some spaces there we still got to account for. But I'm definitely getting more than what I had before with just my flat image with a piece of texture on there. Now, the one thing that's going to come up, of course, is I am adding geometry. I did make this a lot heavier than when I had just the one rectangle. But I am using a component. There's only 4 components, and those components are about the lowest poly you can possibly get because they're literally just an extruded rectangle. I didn't go in and put in chips in there. I didn't knock the corners off. They're literally just a pulled rectangle. So that keeps it as low poly as really I can get. So let's talk about putting some mortar between these bricks. I'm going to show you a couple different ways. The first one's going to be the simplest one. I'm going to grab a rectangle. I'm going to pick a point right here and pick the front there. I'm going to go down to the front here, and I'm going to take that rectangle and I'm just going to move it back. That's just a 1/16 of an inch is all. And obviously it's got the default face. I'll go ahead and reverse that. And then I could take that and I could fill that with, I could do a couple things here. One thing I might think about doing is going to landscaping and find like my gravel or sand texture and apply that, because that's going to look more like mortar than, you know, just a bright yellow or a beige color. So that looks kind of cool. That looks good. And you can see if I did that, repeated my bricks bigger, that would look all right. I could actually take that if I wanted to and bring it out maybe even just a little bit more, so you have less brick showing, less texture than that. All right, so that looks pretty good. So obviously one of the things that's happening right now is I don't have a line here, right? Because I don't, my things are just overlapping. So two options I have right now. I'm going to grab all of this and I'm going to make a copy of it. So one thing I could do is I could come in with this piece right here. I could put some depth on it, something like that, and I could actually take that then and use solid tools to cut this out. Now doing that is going to increase my geometry significantly. So where this is one plane right now, it's going to end up getting cut into a whole bunch of polygons to make that come through there. If all I'm looking at is the outside here, that's probably not ideal, because that is going to add a lot of geometry. So what are my other options? Well, what I would probably do in this case is maybe I'll take this side and take it through to the whole width, so that's the full wall width, and then I would take just my bricks and bring them out so they sit on the outside of the wall. So rather than cutting my mortar to the bricks, I'm going to bring the bricks out and cut them back to the mortar surface of the wall. So here's how I'll do that. I actually made a copy of this, and I'm just going to show you the good way to do it, not worry about the other ways you could. So I'm going to triple click this mortar section, make it into a group. I'm going to grab everything here except for that piece, hit scale, grab it by the middle handle and pull that right out to the face. And with that, look what we've created there. See that? Now I actually have, here's my hard lines at the edges. And then this piece right here, what I can do here, this is kind of cool, because now what I can do is I can put that same sandy texture in here to represent the mortar, but on the inside, this might be the inside of a building or something like that. So I could come in here and go, well, I'll just put my standard interior materials on there. So, you know, go ahead and grab, let's see, we'll just grab a color and say, I'm going to have this nice yellow color on the inside of the wall. So my inside wall is my interior paint color. My outside is my bricks with texture. And the nice thing, like I said, if this is getting output at any way and I'm using the texture, I could do that. But the other thing that this is really cool is I can come in here with my shadows, turn those on, and now I can actually play with this, and I'll actually see the brick casting shadows inside there, which I wouldn't see if I was just playing with a regular old material. So there you go. Just a couple thoughts I had about how to kind of up your game from just material without making your model super heavy. And remember, one of the key things there was using the component for that brick, because that instance, there's 4 sets of geometry basically saved in my model and then just used over and over again. So it's going to keep my model small compared to if each of those was separate geometry. I get like cold shivers thinking about what if I had just modeled that all as just loose geometry. Oh, that'd be painful. If you like that, go ahead and click like down below, and if you haven't already, click on subscribe. We create several videos a week and you'll be notified of each of them if you subscribe. Most importantly though, please leave us a comment. Most, if not all, of our content that we create is generated based on comments from users like you. Thank you.